This is Franchise Today, brought to you by FRM Solutions, providers of the best-in-class software solutions for franchise relationship management. Franchise Today is your destination for weekly information, conversations, and interviews with accomplished industry leaders, all of whom share best practices for sustainable growth and sensible franchising. Here now, your host, Stan Friedman, to kick off this week's podcast.
Today is Wednesday, September 27th, 2023. I'm Stan Friedman, and this is Franchise Today. Well, many thanks again to Greg Long for sitting for a twofer and sharing so much in terms of take-home value across our two interviews. And what great passion Greg possesses for sharing, right down to sharing his personal cell phone number with the audience for a more personal and closer, perhaps, conversation about franchising. Well, this week we shift gears as I feature another in my series of rising stars of franchising. In fact, this week's rising star also checks the box for amazing women in franchising as well. This week we'll hear from Julie Cartwright, a truly inspiring emerging franchisor who is making all the right moves to assure sustainable growth through sensible franchising. Julie is the president of an impressive emerging franchise brand called PVolve. In 2017, Julie's partner, Rachel Katzman, went searching for solutions to feeling broken from high-intensity workouts, which, when mingled with her chronic scoliosis pain, caused her to search for a better way to get the results she wanted in terms of sculpting her body, minus the aches and pains and broken body that came along with high-intensity workouts. So, with that as her motivation, Rachel sought some seed capital to create a new modality that they've now dubbed functional fitness. That investor, a successful serial entrepreneur in his own right, also just happens to double as Rachel's dad. With his investment and belief in the concept, these founders put together a clinical advisory board, a team of expert trainers, obtained patents on some amazing and unique equipment, and with an equally impressive team of franchise professionals to guide them, they've gone about disrupting the fitness industry, offering PVolve franchises, which include a hybrid of streaming as well as in-studio experiences for their members to benefit from, getting the look they want minus the drain of high-intensity workouts. PVolve has literally put to rest the old adage of no pain, no gain, and replace that notion with low impact, big results fitness, enabling one to still break a sweat but not break one's body. When I return in 2 minutes or less, I'll introduce you to PVolve President Julie Cartwright. Don't go away.
Franchise Today will be right back, but first, a word from our sponsors.
Franchisors of restaurants, bars, and grills, and multi-unit franchisees, listen up. This message is for you. If you're looking to engage guests, elevate profits, and enhance your customer experience, Atmosphere TV is the answer. What's Atmosphere, you ask? Atmosphere is the world's #1 streaming TV service for businesses, here to help you make more and save big on overpriced cable packages. Atmosphere provides you with a free programming option, bringing more than 60 ultra-engaging audio-optional channels designed to please customers and increase their average ticket. So, how does it work? Well, it's easy. Upon sign-on, Atmosphere sends you a free device, loaded with over 60 channels of eye-grabbing entertainment. From news and sports to viral videos and fuzzy animals, every channel is family-friendly and designed to keep your customers happy and engaged. Plus, thanks to Atmosphere's 100% audio-optional format, the programming is perfect for any setting, no matter how loud or busy. So, stop playing and paying overpriced cable. Go with free TV instead. Just go to atmosphere.tv/sign-up and use the code FRANCHISE, and Atmosphere will waive the usual one-time $99 activation fee for your free-to-stream device. Visit Atmosphere online at atmosphere.tv, and remember, use the code FRANCHISE to waive your one-time activation fee. Visit atmosphere.tv to elevate your franchise's entertainment experience today. Well, I must confess that when I was first approached to do this interview, I wasn't quite sure how I felt about it. At first blush, I thought, here comes the next shiny object in an already crowded space. Then I doubled down on that impression when I learned that Jennifer Anniston was the face of the brand. In my mind, that just added celebrity endorsement to my initial assumption. Well, wrong, and wrong again, Stan Friedman. Here are the actual facts. In 2021, when Jennifer Anniston went looking for solutions to keep exercising while facing burnout from her shooting schedule, rigorous workouts, and her own back injury, she became extremely interested in PVolve, spurred on by a friend's results already using the concept. That became the actress's motivation to begin streaming PVolve workouts herself and begin a transformation of her own in regard to her personal fitness. The method's equal emphasis on aesthetic results and longevity changed how Anniston thought about working out, so much so that in 2023, she actually joined the company. Today, the PVolve method continues to evolve to serve women in ways commonly ignored by the fitness industry at large, while continuing to deliver on PVolve's promise to sculpt, strengthen, and restore. Listen, Julie Cartwright, welcome to Franchise Today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We're excited to learn more about PVolve today, which I think is kind of like an acronym, isn't it, for personal evolution? I kind of read that someplace.
That's correct. Yes. Personal evolution.
So we're going to learn a lot today about what PVolve is, why you're here today, because usually Franchise Today's guests are those who have hit milestones well beyond any that PVolve as an emerging brand has aspired to as yet. But every now and then we like to do what I call the rising stars of franchising, and you certainly check that box. And by the time we're done here today, the audience will understand why. Fair enough?
Awesome. Thank you.
So before we get into PVolve, let's begin the way every week's interviews begin, which is with agreement that franchising is an unintentional way of doing business. Nobody went to school to study up on becoming a franchise executive, including you, I'm sure. So why don't you tell us, Julie, how did franchising and you connect, and how did you back your way into it?
Yes, that is so the truth. So I started the company with the founder back in early 2017, and we knew that there was a new modality really needed in the fitness market. And we can kind of get into that a little bit later, but we decided to really launch this company as a streaming on-demand service, and then also proprietary patented pieces of resistance equipment. And we decided to launch that as sort of a digital offering, but both the founder, Rachel Katzman, and we knew that we didn't just want to have a digital community. We really believed that you needed an in real life community as well. For those days that you needed additional accountability, just to kind of continue to stay fresh and have your community in real life. So we knew that we wanted physical locations in addition to our digital offering. And very early on, and I'm telling you that this wasn't based on experience, because I think what you said, Stan, is so true. I didn't really know anything about franchising. I just knew that we felt very strongly that passionate owner-operators, the same way that we started the company, this was our baby, that we wanted passionate owner-operators in these communities across the United States and Canada. And we felt franchising was the only way to really accomplish that. And we started down that path at very, very early stage at the end of 2018, after only really starting the company officially in early 2018. So there was a lot to learn, absolutely. I mean, everything. And we can talk a little bit about that journey and lessons learned, but that's really how we got into franchising originally.
So let's then flip gears and talk a little about the concept itself and what it was that Rachel created and you along with her are taking into the world of franchising. What made you feel like you had a cat by the tail, as there are so many different spins on personal fitness and training and pretty crowded space, and yet you guys are breaking out with something that's disruptive. Let's talk about what that is.
Yeah, it's such a great story. I met Rachel in January of 2017, and she sat across from me, and And she told me that in her early 20s, she was bouncing around from boutique fitness to boutique fitness, everything from Pilates to actually boxing, trying to really get a physical result that she was after. And she realized that she was walking out of every gym concept really in pain, but she wasn't really putting much attention to that. And so she decided that she was going to continue to look until she found what it is that she was looking for in the boutique fitness space. And she was introduced to functional fitness and functional movement. And functional movement really just means that they're mimicking, the movements are mimicking sort of your everyday movements, and they work with your body's biomechanics. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. And through practicing functional movement, she realized that she was not only getting the physical results that she was looking for, lifted butt, toned thighs, really strong core, but almost more importantly, she was waking up without pain. She realized through that she actually had scoliosis that had not been diagnosed prior. And she was really, sort of blown away. And she had this aha moment that she should be able to look the way that she wants, but she should also be able to feel good. I had no intention of leaving my 20-year career when she sat across from me, but I think she said something that really resonated. It was, I had been in fitness for about 20 years, and we had seen the rise of really, really high impact cardio where you sort of break your body. And I really just heard something that I was like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what the market needs. You should be able to have your cake and eat it too. You should be able to look the way that you want, but you also should be able to live the way that you want and feel really, really good. So I decided to take a side hustle and help her to start her company. And we started it really with functional movement. So absolutely everything that she fell in love with, but she really wanted to build. She was a daughter of an entrepreneur, a very, very successful entrepreneur named David Katzman. And so she grew up sort of around the kitchen table thinking of the companies that she would one day start. And she knew that she wanted more of a moat of distinction really around functional fitness. And so she started to figure out ways of really enhancing the results that she was getting. And she met up with a product developer, and they developed a piece of resistance equipment, which now is called our PVolve. It's one of our patented pieces of resistance equipment. And that really, the functional fitness plus the resistance-based equipment is really what makes PVolve what it is. So we decided to start with a digital offering of a subscription, a global subscription where you could access the content. And then also we put on an e-commerce site run by Shopify. We started to sell our resistance-based equipment with our star, which was the PVolve. And we launched the company in November of 2017 with very, very, very little funding behind it. And the investor, David Katzman, her father, was just like, I just need to see if the market demand is there. And he saw that almost immediately. There was something just about this idea of moving the way that your body was intended and supporting the movement today that supports the movement for your many tomorrows that really, really resonated in the market. And we decided to officially start the company on January 1st of 2018.
What was your connectivity to Rachel prior? How did you two get connected?
Oh gosh, this is such a great story. But I had worked with a woman named Stephanie Weineman. I had worked with her. She had sourced my fitness equipment. Again, I was sort of the general manager for a division of an entertainment company, and I was in fitness for a really, really long time. And so I had sourced all of my equipment through this woman, Stephanie Weineman, who is also a family friend of the Katzmans. And when Rachel had this amazing idea, she was young, she needed somebody that was experienced to sort of bring her idea to life. And she kept trying to get in touch with me for like a year through this family friend. And I was super happy where I was. And I'm like, yeah, no, thank you, but I really appreciate it. And Rachel is like relentless. She really doesn't take no for an answer. And eventually she just got the meeting in January of 2017, and I was like starstruck ever since. So that's how we met.
Your background in fitness was in what discipline?
Yeah, so it was in a lot of disciplines. We actually had our own label. I worked for Stars and Lionsgate. Eventually, Lionsgate purchased our company. And we had a division of the company where we worked with everybody from Tracy Anderson to Billy Blanks to Leslie Sansone to our own proprietary low impact and high impact workouts. We would produce actually DVDs, which is going to age me, but DVDs and actually VHS and then eventually digital. And we would sell it to big box retail, everybody from Walmart to Target. And we would develop the concepts from start to finish with these different personalities and then oftentimes include equipment along with the content and sell it nationally.
So that background then was the foundation for you seeing what it was that Rachel was putting together, and you got lit up on that?
Lit up. That's such a good word. Yes. There was no saying no. I had goosebumps. I went home that night and talked to a family friend, and I said, I think my life changed today. I really do. There's something about it that I just know that this is what's needed in the market, and I've been a diehard believer ever since.
So tell us a little bit about the growth of the brand, and how is it that this is so revolutionary? What is it that it does that distinguishes it above and beyond anything else that's out there and has captured the attention of such luminaries as Jennifer Anniston?
Yeah, so we ended up starting, as I mentioned, we ended up starting with a digital offering. We actually had a very, very small studio in New York City, a small studio meaning basically a room that had sort of a cult following. And so we did have a physical location that was very small, but we really started with a streaming digital offering that had sort of global members a part of, and then really selling our proprietary patented pieces of resistance equipment to enhance the results that we promised. So we started there, and we really officially started the company in January of 2018. And we had sort of a roadmap of additional pieces of patented resistance equipment that, again, would enhance these results. And I guess really the main difference is it's actually a new to market modality. I mean, functional fitness and resistance-based training was not something that people really knew what it was, and it certainly wasn't on every street corner in the United States. So we had to build a lot of education, not only around don't worry, this is low impact, but it's still going to give you the results that you really demand, and the lean muscles and the weight loss and all of those types of things that are sort of you have to have if you're building a fitness modality in the market. But then we really needed to educate you on if you move your body the way that it's intended to move, there's a lot of additional benefits: mobility, flexibility, hormone regulation, pelvic floor health, which is a massive topic, prenatal and postnatal, but in a different way than other fitness methods really talk about that. And that's really more about how your body gets ready for birth and recovers from birth, menopause. So functional fitness has a ton of additional benefits, including rehabilitation and injury prevention. And Rachel took it very seriously. She's like, I know what this was able to do for me and really dealing with back pain through her scoliosis diagnosis. But we decided to really start listening to our members very early on. We listen to our members in so many ways, but we also interview one in front of the entire company every single week. And there was this consistency of message that just kept coming through. And that was, yeah, I started this because of X, Y, and Z, but I had these aha moments where I didn't fall when I was walking on cobblestones in my wedge heels. I was able to really continue to mountain climb well into my 60s because I had better mind-body connection. I felt like I was able to run faster at an older age after an injury because I was really practicing functional fitness. So we actually leaned in on that pretty extensively at a very early age. And I think we were a little bit before our time. We got doctors to sit on our board to work with our highly certified trainers to develop content that could really deliver on that. We've got 4 doctors that are very involved in our business. And then we also got into clinical studies so that we could legally claim that by practicing this method, PVolve, which is functional fitness and resistance-based training, we could significantly reduce your lower back pain, that we could help you to healthy age, that we could improve your balance. And I say that we were before our time because I think post-COVID, people are taking a lot more time and effort into protecting their overall wellness, and they want to be educated in how they can live a healthier, longer life. And that has really started to become incredibly apparent with our continued growth in the market and obviously getting the attention of Jennifer Anniston.
So tell us about that piece of the pie. She's done more than just benefit from what you've got, hasn't she?
It's so great. I mean, Jennifer will say it herself in press, which is so great. She's so authentic, but she came into contact with a very, very close friend that not only did she see a body transformation with, but she also saw just like her have an entirely new level of energy. And she's like, what are you doing? And this was in late 2020, 2021. And this woman, thankfully, said, oh my gosh, you have to try PVolve. PVolve has changed my life. And Jennifer that day ordered absolutely everything and started streaming at home with our on-demand platform. She fell in love with it. She also started to really realize those just unbelievable results. And she had suffered some injuries. She had some sensitivities in her body as well, and she didn't want to sit on the sidelines. And she realized that you don't have to pound your body in order to get the results that you're looking for, that there's a reason to be kinder to your body, especially as you age. And her team actually reached out to us in August of last year, and I'll never forget that day. I mean, we thought we were getting punked. We're like, wait, Jennifer Aniston's team wants to talk to us? And we got on the phone, and the rest is sort of history. She really wanted to join the company. She wanted to provide a megaphone for what it is that we're doing. She knew that more people needed this in her life. That's very her. She only joins companies that she really not only consumes in her daily life, but that she feels very strongly that other people need to know about.
So what's her role now in terms of the business?
Yes, so she's an advisor to us, but she's actually very, very involved. I mean, as you can see, she's the face of the company. You see her on a lot of different marketing materials. We just launched a national commercial that really amplifies this message of strength and like strength, mind, body, and spirit that just launched last week. And so she's an owner in the company too, and she's going to be doing everything from co-branded product potentially to giving her advice on sort of how we show up in market to being a storyteller.
Awesome. Well, you brought us to a point where I think we can break for a quick commercial timeout and come back on the other side of that commercial and talk more about the franchise side of the business. And as you've been very deliberate and intentional with growing the product and the service that you offer to the end users and the community that use your tools and your programs, we're going to talk more about how intentional you are about your franchise development as well. We're talking with Julie Cartwright, president of PVolve, who in this world of fitness has broken the code on no pain, no gain. It sounds to me like we're not going to be hearing that expression anymore when it comes to PVolve. It's all gain, no pain. What do you think?
Absolutely. We say something called you should break a sweat and not your body. So we are definitely against the no pain, no gain statement.
All right, quick time out, and we're back with Julie Cartwright to talk more about the franchising side of PVolve. I'm Stan Friedman. This is Franchise Today. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Franchise Today will be right back. But first, a word from our sponsors.
In today's world, for sustainable growth, franchisors must apply systems that manage and support all aspects of franchise development, from getting units open and operating to supporting operations in the field, managing legal and compliance, royalty management, and franchisee location and ownership information and records management, sometimes across multiple brands. And they must be able to report on all that data on demand. Are you confident that your current tools are delivering that to you today, much less achieving it to your satisfaction? Well, time to say hello to FRM Solutions, because FRM does all that and more. With open APIs, associated data can be pushed or pulled from anywhere to FRM. That's why franchise administrators, legal teams, and franchise executives at some of America's largest and multi-branded portfolio companies rely upon FRM Solutions Solutions as their single source of truth. And if that's not enough, FRM can identify single or multi-unit franchisee records across multiple brands within your portfolio of concepts, delivering you the power of one, the one and only tool for seamless multi-brand franchise relationship management. And that power of one applies too if you're an established and fast-growing single concept franchise. In either case, FRM scales with your company and helps you grow your business. Forget about building a custom system and say good riddance to inflexible products. FRM is customizable and upgrades are included. It even integrates with Outlook, Gmail, and text messaging, making it fully functional within your native environments. It's time to simplify your life and compound your success. Do it today with the power of one, and that one is FRM Solutions. Find them online at frmsolutions.com and order up a demo today. And the conversation today continues with Julie Cartwright, president of PVolve. And Julie, I'm going to ask you to flip gears now and take us to the franchising side of the house, because I don't mind telling you, in fact, we can be very honest and open with my audience. When I first heard about PVolve, I thought, here comes another fitness company that's going to be a flash in the pan. And they've got a celebrity endorsement. All those things had me rolling my eyes thinking, really, what is this all about? And I told your representatives that I wanted first to dig deeper and to better understand what it is that makes you something in the marketplace that's different, real, and sustainable. And I was very satisfied with the answers I got, which brought you to rising star status in today's conversation. So let's share some of that with the audience. Franchising is a way of doing business. It comes with a whole set of rules that people that are experts in other businesses don't confront. It took a steep learning curve for you to come this far this quickly. So why don't you share with us how you went about doing that?
Oh, yes. It was definitely a learning curve. So we always knew that we wanted to have in real life locations. Rachel and I were set to really build awareness of functional fitness and resistance-based training, and we wanted to stand for excellence. So that's where you see some of the investment in clinical studies and our board of doctors, and we were taking it very seriously how the prescription of PVolve was showing up both digitally and then in person. So we decided that owner-operators was the only way that we wanted to expand, and we convinced our investor to go into franchising. Well, you don't go into franchising overnight. That is one thing that I did learn. And we wanted to make sure that we were going to do it right. I think we took a great deal of accountability, and I feel very accountable that people put their own money into this business and opening up a PVolve studio in their local market. So you can't just be out for growth, and that wasn't at all what we were looking for. We were looking to have an exceptional experience in the right markets with the right owners, and we honestly asked for a lot of advice, and we got experts at the table to help us to really start this right. We used iFranchise, which I cannot say enough good things about. We used iFranchise to really help us to talk through the model, to talk about how we wanted to develop our FDD, the things that needed to happen. We worked with the very, very best legal counsel with DLA Piper. And so we took it very seriously. This wasn't something that we were going to have to really learn on the job. We wanted to make sure that we set it up right to be right for these franchisee owners that were really going to come in very, very early stage as some of our first. So that's sort of how we got started, but it takes a while. It really does. We started really hosting and seeking out franchisee candidates in 2019. And before we did that, we actually decided that we were going to have our own owned and operated. We wanted to open up 2 to 3 locations. We actually own 3 so that we could have sort of like an incubator and learn before we actually were opening up somebody else's location through our franchise system. And then COVID came. And I will tell you this, we were a little bit lucky in that regard because we only had our owned and operated studios open. And we obviously had a very successful and thriving and growing business with our digital and physical goods at the time. So it's not like we had 50 studios in market. And we were able to really learn just how important it is to have a hybrid offering of being able to both offer an in-studio experience and a digital experience. And we've always been natively that way. It's not something we had to quickly pivot into. And I think that only helped us to accelerate the importance of having a hybrid offering for our franchise model too. And we can talk a little bit about that. And then we sold our first franchise location in 2020. And we just opened our first location in February of this year, with our second just having opened last week and our third about to open next week. And then we've awarded about 28 locations now, and we're really proud of what it is that we're building.
So who is it that you're looking for? What disciplines and what backgrounds do people need to bring with them that you will aspire to train and to bring into your business?
Yeah, so I get asked that a lot. It's very important, the people that you award these businesses to. I think that what we found really with our first 28 locations, and that doesn't mean we've awarded 28 franchisees. Some of them have multiple units. But I think we're looking for smart, passionate, hardworking couples that are really looking to bring this to their community because they're passionate about bringing something that their community really needs. I know that there's a lot of talk about, especially after we launched with Jennifer Anniston, we have a lot of inbound. We're trying to be very careful to make sure that our early franchisees especially are gritty and passionate about this new to market modality that is actually changing people's lives and the way that they think about fitness. And that's really important, even if it means we've got to go slower, because again, our end goal is to really stand for excellence in this modality, as to stand for sort of the Kleenex of tissues. And that's far more important to us than just meeting a goal of awarding 100 locations before February of next year. It's like, we're going to do this right. So that's really what we've looked for and we've found. And honestly, what we're seeing as extremely successful in terms of pre-sales and openings, we're having a lot of early success because we do see that grit in our owners. And that's what I think Rachel and I are too. So we really get it. So that's what we've looked for so far.
What do you say to those in this audience that are not IFA members but are emerging franchisors? What's the IFA meant to you in your early stages of growth and development?
The IFA is so incredibly important. As a matter of fact, I think I started attending the IFA even before we were ready to start selling. I think the network, and honestly, you don't see this from a lot of different industries, but like the way that other franchisors will share with you what they've learned and the falls that they want you to avoid is, I think, very rare. And it's something that, even makes me want to go into franchising even more. So they've been a critical part of our growth and, obviously into our future. It's a critical part of our growth.
So on the franchise development side, Julie, what's your goal for the year and what's your 3 to 5 year plan look like?
Yeah, so our goal for the year is to award 30 this year. We are going to have 8 franchisees open this year, and we're on target for that right now. And we'll have about 20 to 25 open next year. And then our plan is really to have around 100 to 150 in 2025. And you'll hear that different than previous interviews because, again, we want to do this right. And as part of that, we're willing to slow down and speed up accordingly. And so that's what the outlook looks like right now. I think that we've learned a lot with our first franchisee opening on just some technology enhancements that we want to do, better visibility, more systematic approach to pre-sales. And so we're constantly talking to our early franchisees because they're so important to us. They really took a risk early stage of being the first, the second, and the third. And so we consider them certainly an extension of our team. They're boots on the ground, and we've learned a lot, and we're seeing sort of improvements with each location opening. So that's our current goal.
And you talked about your clinical trials and having a board of advisors on the medical side. What about on the franchising side of the business? Who are you leaning into for guidance and direction, and how are you going about that?
Yeah, so I think that we've built a team that has some really nice experience internally. Quite a few of our team members that really are dedicated to franchising come from 10, 15, 20 years of franchising in various industries and concepts. So I certainly look to my team. I think that there was some additional partners that I mentioned. I franchise. I still keep in very close touch with them. And DLA Piper, But also, I think we attend a lot of events with other emerging franchise concepts. I am constantly networking and reaching out and just trying to make the right connections and seek the right additional resources. And I'm always looking to that. Dan, I'm really interested in something that you introduced me to, and I'm looking into that right now. And that is being able to have access to a forum of other executives that are certainly trying to achieve our same goals in various different industries, and really setting up sort of that roundtable of us to discuss, because I've just found this industry to be incredibly helpful.
Thank you for the shameless Zorforum plug.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. I totally looked into it, and Johnny Franchise is already reaching out. I love it.
That's great. Well, in the time we've got left, I've got to ask you, how about some contact info?
Definitely PVolve.com, PVolve.com.
Well, we're going to keep an eye on things and keep an eye on how you help change the world, one studio at a time, one fitness center at a time, one customer that you can serve at a time. You've certainly captured a lot of early stage interest and seem with intention to be focused on doing it and doing it right. So
Yes.
Proud to know you, and I'm going to be interested in meeting you at the IFA next year and learning more and meeting more of your team.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dan, for having me.
My pleasure. Julie Cartwright, president of PVolve. Well, that does it for today. Join me again every Wednesday at noon Eastern as I drop new interviews with some of franchising's most interesting and successful executives. Next week, another powerhouse woman in franchising as we're joined by Bio1 President Danessa Italia, who is also a member of IFA's Women in Franchising Committee and who in 2022 was recognized as a top influential woman in franchising by Entrepreneur Media. Danessa Italia, right here next week on Franchise Today. Until then, I'm Stan Friedman wishing you the best, the very best of all things franchising, and Franchise Today is out.
Franchise Today is a production of FRM Solutions, providing best-in-class CRM tools to empower relationships with prospective and existing franchisees. No excuses, just solutions. Find them online at frmsolutions.com. Join Stan every Wednesday at noon Eastern for another live episode of Franchise Today. Or, as always, download episodes on demand at blogtalkradio.com or iTunes.
When you're part of a military family, you understand sacrifice and support. At American Public University, we honor your dedication by extending our military tuition savings to your extended family. Parents, spouses, legal partners, siblings, and dependents all qualify for APU's preferred military rate of just $250 per credit hour for undergraduate and master's level programs. American Public University. Value for the whole family. Learn more at apu.apus.edu/military.